It's finally time for part 1 of the Idle Heroes community account tune-up video. I know this took a while to get out, but I was trying to do other stuff to grow the channel, so it's finally here. First up, we've got Kingpin 420. He says he needs a lot of help with a lot of stuff. He's new and doesn't know what he's doing. And this is honestly a great example of an early game player working on too many projects. So Kingpin, what you want to do is you want to focus on that first E5 hero. In this case, based on your bag, your only real option is Inosuke. You're going to want to save the Rogan and save the ticks, but stop working on them for now and focus on pushing that Inosuke all the way to E5 before you start on any other projects. Bade will be a great first feed to him to take him from 9-star to 10-star. And then once you can get that Ice Blink to 9-star, you can push him to E1 once you get your third additional copy of Inosuke. Other than that, Faceless and Field are both going to be great food heroes. And a lot of your other 5-star heroes are actually pretty decent. You'll want to hold on to Rust for now. You'll want to stay away from DM and Dark. Flora you'll want to hold on in case you want to push her. Morax could be food, especially if you build Inosuke as your first E5. Asmo, don't worry about Light and Dark. Olivia save as she's very useful early game and mid game. And same with Delasium. Other than that, Faceless and Mikey are both food. So you're in an okay spot, but you can definitely do better if you focus on the Inosuke. Next up is Cheese Curry Pie, who also needs a little bit of help. So again, you're going to want to focus on an E5 hero before you build all of these other projects. And E1 Olivia is not helping you out at all, and neither is a 10-star Sherlock. Unimax is effectively food, so you can build him to 10-star and take that Garuda to E4, which will be good. You're also going to want to stop leveling up those Amon-Ra and Ticks, as A, they're better at 5-star early on, and B, you're wasting food getting them up beforehand. Flame Strike and Gusta are going to be great food. If you can get either of them to 10-star in addition to the Unimax, you will be able to take that Garuda to E5. Once you get one more copy, it looks like you've only got the copy for E4. Then with an E5 Garuda and an E1 Olivia, you'll be on your way to Sealand 20 and Death 1. Death 1 is doable but hard with Garuda, although Olivia is going to help you a lot. Sealand 20, you are going to need to level up a Heartwatcher to 10-star, and then honestly, I'm not sure if a 10-star Heartwatcher and E1 Olivia are going to be enough. You may need to build some baby Rogans or things like that. Next up, we've got Meow Musk, and this is a much later game account that has a very specific question, so I'm just going to read through it first. I feel like I can optimize my PvP team. Other than a Transcendence hero, what is stronger than the below team, and who gets removed? All Stellar Shards are currently assigned to these 6. So Meow has a V2 Lock with a Splendid AMB and speed build, a V1 Carry with a regular Rui and a speed build, a V1 Drake with Rui and a speed build, a V1 Rogan with a Splendid Crown and a speed build, a V3 Tix with a Splendid Punisher and a speed build, which is kind of weird, and then a V3 Rust with a Splendid AMB and speed build. I also have a Glittery Cog, Snowheart, another base Rui, a single Demon Bell, and then the usual no use in PvP pay-to-win artifacts. So first of all, honestly, I wouldn't focus on PvP with an account like this. Unless you're a very, very late server, you're going to be on that cusp of not really competing at the top level, but you'll probably be somewhere in the top 100 to top 50 depending on your server. But if PvP is your goal, I honestly would move away from Rogan. If your server has enough forces, especially since you are only running one Rogan, and if you do swap out the Rogan, I would swap in the Amon-Ra and drop some of your heroes where speed builds don't make sense. So for example, swap Ticks to 22322 and a Holy Attack Stone. Drake, Carry, and Lock can stay. Drake and Carry can stay speed. Sherlock, you may want to swap to a less speed heavy build depending on his imprints and his speed fights. Although, yeah, especially with the Splendid A and B, if you can get like a V2 Lock running 22322, he's very, very hard to kill. But you'll want to check out your speed tiers by testing him against other opponents in your guild, or sorry, on your server. Next, you'll really want to start removing the Drake and Russell, as in my opinion, they're falling out of the meta. Building around something like a Halora in that spot eventually, I know you said you don't have one yet, will be great. Running something like Halora, Ignis, Tix, Sherlock, and then like Carry, things like that, and Amon-Ra will be great. Honestly, it will also depend on the 4Cs whether or not you drop that Rogan at all. If you do see a lot of Rogans on your server, I'd also add back in your own 4Cs and get him to at least V1, but he needs more than that for imprints. But yeah, in my personal opinion, you should focus more on the Void with an account like this, but hopefully those do help you with some PvP ideas. Hit me up if not. Next up, we've got Mackie, who is trying to figure out what first Void hero to build, as well as who should be E5'd or built on this account. So this is actually a very light and dark heavy account, which is really interesting. It's got 3 light heroes and 2 dark heroes, despite only having 8 E5 heroes. In a decent place. I'm guessing light Sealand 20 is done, dark Sealand 20 is done, Shadow potentially, Forest definitely. So E5 wise, I would not E5 Terra, I would not E5 Aspen, I would not E5 Heartwatcher. Drake is an option, but I don't think Drake is optimal really anywhere anymore. Although Drake can help in Void Arc and, I mean, some PvP depending on your server. I would definitely build Queen over any of these heroes, especially if you're close to those 5 million Crystals of Transcendence. Queen would be a great addition to your team for Void, for PvP, honestly even for PvE since you're running Rust Boost, presumably. Yeah, so I would definitely build a E5 Halora before any of the other potential projects you have going on. Honestly, Terra could be food for you at this point. I'd save Drake and Aspen, 10-star. You'll never know what you want to do with them, and you never want to feed Dark Heroes. Yeah, I'd build a Halora and, yeah, focus on the Void. Next up, we've got Explode. So his max Aspen dungeon was 44, and he's hoping to get some advice on where to invest his time. He's also buying cores daily to get close to having a top-tier PvP team, since that's his main goal. Do you think I could get above Overseer with 3 max pets? So, yeah, I do think 3 max pets is enough to get you into Maverick. A lot of your Overseer battles are going to be, well, all of your Overseer battles are going to be 5 versus 5, so you only need to win 3 of them. If you have 3 good enough teams and move your teams around before the battle, you'll win 3-2, even if they have more heroes than you. That every win is enough to push you into Maverick. That said, it looks like you're nowhere near enough for 5 teams, and honestly, you're nowhere near enough to be able to compete in Maverick or 2 Maverick at this point. Aspen Dungeon 100 is a huge benefit to your account anyway, as even for PvP you get to level 350. I would focus on getting V4 ticks with a upgraded Punisher, and then one of those Sherlocks an upgraded Rui Scepter, and then Russ a upgraded A and B. Those 3 heroes alone can easily carry you to Death 100. Buying daily cores will get you a Halora. Don't build Shia even if your goal is PvP. You're far too behind for PvP. Halora is still good in PvP. She's still better than all of your other heroes. She's just not as good as Sword Flash. Other than that, yeah, you're kind of behind a PvP meta, especially without a Transcendence hero and only 8 E5 heroes. You're going to end up having to run something like Halora, Russ, Carry, double Sherlock, and Ticks until you finish that Amun-Ra, unfortunately. Next up, we've got Fake. Need some tips on Dark Sealand. So you've got 9-star Carry, E5 Aspen, and 2 Baby Ras. Honestly, 2 more Baby Amun-Ras along with those 2 should be enough as long as you get Carry RNG to drain the boss. That E5 Aspen is going to do a ton of damage. You may swap out one of the Baby Amun-Ras for another Baby Carry if you want to lower your RNG chances. But yeah, Dark Sealand 20 should be within reach for you fairly soon. I also hope you have Fortress Sealand 20 done, as you've got that E5 Penny, although I don't see a lot of Fortress support heroes at the moment. Yeah, and depending on your Amun-Ra copies, I only see the 2 babies here. You may consider building 1 to 10-star and then keeping 1 or 2 more babies if you have enough copies. Moist Boy needs some help with Aspen Dungeon. He thinks he can push to Death 100. Like I said previously, you've got the 3, in my opinion, most important heroes for a easy Death 100 push. You're going to want Russell with a splendid AMB and full attack build. You're going to want Sherlock with a tanky build and an upgraded, ideally, Rui Scepter. And you're going to want V4 Ticks with a upgraded Punisher. I would put all of your imprints into Ticks. If you can get to V4, if not, I would stop at V2. Then I would put imprints into the Sherlock and Russell. Other than that, you'll bring Garuda as a suicide hero. So think something like Antlers Cane 22322 and just throw her away to try and clear some other waves. And yeah, it's definitely doable with those 3 heroes and those 3 builds. If you end up building Carry next, she can also help against some Penny Amun-Ra waves if you want to save Tick's energy. That's about it at this point, especially since you don't have an Ada. So the Cades, Light Abyss and Shadow Sealand are complete. Scrolls for Chinese New Year saved and 9 Tix copies in the bag. Yeah, I like where this account is so far. No other Sealands on the horizon, that's okay. There's no reason to rush Sealand 20s after you get your non-light and dark and your regular and your light and dark. I would definitely build that first E5 Tix. Gonna be a huge benefit to you in the Void. Gonna be a huge benefit to you even in PvP, since you don't even have 6 E5 heroes yet. Once you get that Tix to E5, he's also gonna help you in your Death 100 push, which will help the account. And then I would honestly start focusing on an Ignis copy more so than anything else, unless you already have a lot of MSS. Then you can start running a 5-star Inosuke with an upgraded MSS to push your corruption levels. But with your Horus, Rogan, Tix, and then 3 other support heroes, depending on where you're at, you're going to be able to make some solid pushes in Realms Gate. Kind of Vortex, you could maybe make it to Pioneer. You're not going to get Valiant yet. And you should be able to also make some progress against Void Arc bosses with that Ithaqua. So yeah, not a bad place. I would build Tix for PvE, and then consider an MSS for Inosuke or Sherlock for Death 100 in PvP, or even Amun-Ra for PvP if you have enough copies. Next up is Mr. He's a free-to-play player, and as far as pay-to-win artifacts, he's got Radiant Antlers, Cog, AMB, and his Tix is V1 with nodes maxed out. So this is another account that already has Tix and Sherlock. I love that for a Death 100 push. Sealand, I'm hoping you have at least Forest 20 cleared. You should have Dark 20 cleared pretty soon too. You've got 10-star carry, 10-star Amun-Ra, 2 Baby Ras. All you need is 1 more Dark support hero and to get that Aspen a little higher up, and that should be a clear for you as well. That'll give you a little more food generation daily than just the Forest Sealand 20 will. I'd also look into starting to push Death 100. You should be able to get Death 50 for now. Death 100 is going to be hard as you don't really have a third good Aspen dungeon hero. Tix and Sherlock are great. Garuda's kind of trash. She can't really survive a lot of waves, especially without any upgraded AMBs or things like that. Yeah, I would focus on getting a Punisher every event you can. That's going to be the main artifact you want for basically everything on that Tix. And yeah, Gust and food, Ada save, Oberon food, Lutz food. Only build 4Cs later on if you care about PvP, but don't worry about her for now. Jaguar, you've got enough copies for an E5 Ignis and another lock. You plan on building a second lock offensively and swapping DA for 4Cs down the road. Also plan on rebuilding Garuda to do Forest Sealand and then swapping her out. Forest Sealand is concerned, you could clear it if you built the second Rogan if you want, but Garuda will make it kind of easier. Not a bad option to build her and swap her out. I hope you already have Light Sealand 20 done, as well as Dark Sealand 20 and maybe Shadow. I would definitely E5 Ignis. With your current team, an E5 Ignis and a 10-star Ignis should get you all the way to Valiant, as well as mid-40s and Realms Gate. A second lock would be nice for PvP, but not a huge priority at the moment, especially because you're not running a super meta-relevant team anyway with the double Rust single Rogan. I like the idea of swapping DA for 4Cs. 4Cs is a great, at very least, counter hero for PvP, especially if you can imprints. I would like you to focus on Death 100, especially if you have any upgraded AMBs, Ruiz, or Punishers. You've got 2 Russ, you've got Sherlock, you've got Tix, and then you don't have a good 5th hero, but that doesn't matter. Unless you have an upgraded Candy Bar. I love upgraded Candy Bar Rogan. Those 5 alone should be able to make you a solid Death 100 push, depending on your artifacts, which in turn helps you in all of the other game modes you might care about. May sound repetitive, but Death 100 is such a huge upgrade for resource generation, for stronger heroes, for PvP, and so on. Quick note, I have updated my Patreon tier, so if you do want more in-depth tune-ups for any accounts to join the monthly Q&A or to just chat in the members-only section of Discord, check out the link in the description and, yeah, help support the channel. Next up, we've got Mustang, who included no text. I love this early game account. You haven't worked on unnecessary projects, you've leveled up a few 5-star support heroes, and you're focusing on arguably one of the best first E5 heroes. I honestly wish I could give you 30 seconds of advice, but it doesn't seem like you need it. Get the Inosuke to E5, feed the Ice Blink, and then yeah, finish Sealand 20. Just build up 5 Fire Fists with magic sources, clear it, start pushing pretty high corruption levels, as well as really everywhere in the Void with your E5 Inosuke. I honestly don't have a ton of advice. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep Deathsworn, keep Ada, keep Aspen. Floor is up to you. Keep Rogan, keep Heart Watcher, feed Dentalion, keep Ignis. Yeah, you're doing great. Timoteo, no hero bag screenshot because he had a simple question. Better artifact on Horus, standard AMB, or damage reduction? The answer is almost always damage reduction. Unless you're not dying with the AMB and you want a slight edge in damage, a regular AMB doesn't really give Horus much. You technically don't have maxed block at 117% in a lot of PvE game modes because a lot of PvE opponents have 30 to 35 precision. That said, even in Broken Spaces 7, a Horus isn't going to die at E5. So yeah, DR for most game modes unless you aren't dying with AMB and want just a hair more damage. Cheese Betran, need some advice for Fortress Sealand and Broken Spaces. No, you need advice for your account in general. So you have, this is an even better example of an early game account focusing on way too many projects. Rogan should not be 9-star yet, he's not useful early game. Penny and Inosuke should not both be being built, they do the same thing early on. Karam at 9-star is a garbage food hero. OD is just a food hero. Tix is 8-star way too early. Dominator shouldn't be 8-star because he's a food hero. Siggy at 7-star is fine. He'll help you in Broken Spaces as well as kinda Sealand. Dragon Slayer at 7-star, useless. And Delacium at 7-star should not be built this early. So stop building up heroes evenly. You are not helping your account. You are not progressing. You need to focus on one hero to E5 first, and you need to not build up useful heroes early game. At this point, your choices are either Inosuke or Penny, depending on who you have or get more copies of. Either way, you can get Death 1 and Sealand 20 with them. Inosuke is going to be a little better, but if you have 4 more Penny copies, don't wait to get those Inosuke copies. So once you do that, you will be able to push Sealand to 20, you'll be able to push Death 1, and you will have so much more food than if you keep building all of these heroes to 7-star or 8-star. Also note that a 7 or 8-star hero is a terrible idea because you can't feed them. At 6-star, you can feed to a hero to build them up to 9 or 10-star. And at 9-star, you can feed a hero to build up to 9, 10, E1, E2, or to build a 10-star to feed to E3, 4, 5. So check out my guide on how to build an E5 hero up at the top and in the description, as that will help you out. But yes, you're going to want to keep your Rogan, feed your Karam, feed your OD, keep your Tix, keep your feed your Dominator, keep your Siggy, feed your Dragon Slayer, probably keep your Delacium, keep your Heart Watcher, maybe keep your Ithaqua for now, keep your Deathsworn, feed your Norma. All of them need to go towards building an E5 Inosuke or Penny, depending on who you have more copies of at the moment. Diet Quiet, I'm not sure what to go for next. Get my Russell to E5 or upgrade Amun-Ra for Void survivability. Or push Tix to V2 for Aspen Death 100. First, I would push the Tix to try and get Death 100 if you only have one 10-star food hero. That's going to give you the biggest benefit out of everyone in every game mode, not just the Aspen dungeon push. So I definitely get Tix to at least V2, as well as give those V3 imprints. Don't push him to V3. Wraith upgrade doesn't help. Then I like pushing Russ to E5 next, as he'll help you a little bit in the Void, he'll help a little bit in PvP, he will help you get Sealand 20 if you don't have it yet, and he'll help on that Death 100 push if you have an upgraded AMB. Don't really care about building Amun-Ra up yet. Once you start getting these other heroes up, you get Death 100, and E5 Amun-Ra would be nice for Void pushes, but not necessary. Honestly, after you do Tix, then Russ, I would consider Sherlock if you still don't have Death 100, as he makes Death 100 easier, and he's a nice PvP hero if you want to keep him around. I'd also consider feeding the Delaciums, especially once you have an E5 Russ. Broken Spaces and Flame Shrine are stupid easy, and those are 2 10-star food heroes that aren't really helping you in 99% of the game. Emo wants to know who to build next. So out of the heroes you have under E5, none of them jump out at me. E5 Mim is not going to be great unless you build multiples for IDA and Guild Wars. I don't like Asmo unless you're going to build a Void Asmo. Part Watcher's fine at 10-star. Drake is kind of fallen out of the meta, and he's perfectly fine at 9-star for PvE. Honestly, it depends on your Crystals of Transcendence. I'd either build a Halora, who would be a huge benefit to your team in every game mode. If not, I would build up that Ignis to E5. E5 Ignis plus E5 Tix is going to be great for your Realms Gate and Void Vortex pushes. Plus, she's not bad in PvP, which I know you care about a little too much. Yeah, you should be able to get Death 100 already between Sherlock, Ada, Russell, Tix, and honestly depends on your artifacts. But yeah, the 5th hero, Death 100 should be very doable, getting you to 350. But yeah, build up Halora if you're close. If not, build up Ignis. Next up, we've got Sherlock Master. Next E5 / should I build Ruda after Ithaqua? Your next E5, honestly, it's so hard to not suggest this, but Tix, if you have 9 Tix copies, Tix is such a good E5 to build and you don't have one yet. He would be an incredible benefit to every game mode, as well as kind of making Shadow Sealand 20 easier for you. If not, you could consider building up Ithaqua to E5. An E5 Ithaqua plus support can do Shadow Sealand 20, so it's a little more food, if not food generation. And she'll also help a bit in the Void and so on. E5 Inosuke could help you with Void, but you've already got Fortress Sealand 20 cleared, and he's not a huge benefit in Death 100 pushes. I would not build a Garuda. Garuda's not going to help you anywhere. She's not good in PvP. She'll do a little more damage in PvE than Penny, but honestly, once you get Ithaqua to E5, you'll be perfectly fine there. Yeah, if you're close to 9 copies of Tix, I'd build him. If not, Ithaqua's a fine 30 E5 for you. Last up for this one is going to be Tasir. Want to get Broken Spaces 7 done, as well as Sealand 20. First thing I noticed, get that horse to E5. Tix is not a good first E5. Honestly, you should have kept him as a baby if you wanted to get Sealand 20 done. Finish building up your Horus. I see at least 1 copy, so that's E4 right there. You can feed the Unimax, the Queen, and the Demon Hunter, as well as the Siggy since you've got a Drake. So yeah, E5 Horus plus E5 Tix plus a few baby Tix copies, or Ice Trolls and Deathsworn depending on your imprints. Easy Sealand 20. Broken Spaces 7 is going to be really hard, to be honest. Watch my free-to-play series to see, since it honestly has an E5 Horus and an E5 Tix. Even with an E5 even with an E5 Inosuke who does a ton of damage, I'm still nowhere near clearing Broken Spaces 7. So yeah, honestly, that's going to be more about building your third E5 hero and just pushing or saving up tons and tons of tickets every month. So yeah, hopefully that was a fun community tune-up. We'll have to see how long this is. Stay tuned for part 2, which I may do less accounts depending on how long this one runs. For more of my beginner guides and tutorials, you could check out this playlist in the top left corner. If you want to watch my Orange Artifact free-to-play tier list, check out this video up here in the top right corner. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons if I provided you with any value, and help me grow this channel.